This podcast is sponsored by Cube Gallery, the premier art space in Cebu City. Established in 2013, Cube has been working hand in hand with artists to bring their visions and diverse forms of creativity to life. In this month's exhibit at Cube, Faces by Cebuano artist Chris Bahade, curated by Raymond Fernandez. This exhibition will feature assemblage and figurative abstraction artworks. The exhibit will run until June 18, 2019. I've known Chris for quite some time, and I must say, the first time I saw his artwork, which must have been like 10 years ago, I never saw anything quite like it. Congratulations, Chris. For more information, send an email to info@cubegallery.ph or send a message on their Facebook page at Cube Gallery. That's QUBEGALLERY. This podcast is also brought to you by Graphic 9. Established in 2011, Graphic 9 is a creative agency and production company, a one-stop shop for printing, marketing, and advertising. They help turn your creative ideas from prototype to product. Think like business signage, packaging design, product prototypes, and even a marketing campaign. So they can do all of that for you. The Graphic 9 creative space is located right across USCTC. I was there a few weeks ago. It looks great. Nice place to chill and do some work and have a coffee. And you can get affordable and high quality prints. You get signs or giveaways or any sorts of collaterals for SMEs in Cebu, or even if you're just like a small one-person business. Graphic 9 collaborates with creatives and agencies to create. Cebu, they want to collaborate, so follow them on FB or Instagram at Graphic9. That's GRAFIKNINE. Follow them. Let's get to the show. Welcome to 032 Conversations, the podcast where we talk to creatives, see how they live, and how they do their work. I'm your host, Carlo Villarica. First podcast for June 2019. Hello, everybody. The beginning of June is a little bit hectic for me because by mid-June, I'm going to be spending a good portion of the month on vacation. So, actually, the past few months, I was going overtime recording interviews, and I've recorded a bunch of interviews, all that, I just queued them all up, hoarding them. I got interviews till July. They're all on my computer. I just got to work them out, got to process them. Especially when I'm on vacation. I don't want to be like on vacation and still doing work. So I'm gonna so these intro reads, usually if I do an intro read, I do it like the weekend before I post it. Keep it relevant, keep it timely. But in this particular case, I'm gonna be pre-recording a bunch of my intro reads, which should make for some interesting intros. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it. I hope it'll be interesting because, usually if I come up with what to say during the intros, I like to look at my own life and see what's happening, and then I just record based on that. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do it for the next few ones, but we'll see. And another thing that I'm hoping to do is record a podcast while I'm on vacation. If I'm lucky, I'll be able to score an interview. We'll see how that goes. Also, before we continue, I'd like to give a huge thank you message to Rose Buenconsejo. Rose is our newest patron on Patreon. She helps support the show. If you want to support it, head on over to patreon.com/032. That's 032 in letters. Rose, thank you so much. I've met Rose a few times. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, she's the lady who runs I don't who operates the website runroo.com. Check it out. It's a website. It's runroo.com. They've got like sports or running related news there or blogs. So if you're into active lifestyle, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to enjoy runroo.com. Rose, thank you so much for being a Patreon member. I'll be sending you a shirt once it's printed. I'm just hoping Jake, my printer partner, finishes the new sizes soon. And get back to me. I need your size so I can send it. Thank you so much, Rose. And for this episode of 032 Conversations, we talked to Jacklyn Uy. Jackie and I know each other, and we've occasionally hung out, like in different like parties or dinners. We're party people. Yeah, I see her and party people. Yeah, like in a kids party. But every time I hung out with her, she's always been so fun to talk to. So inviting her to do a podcast interview was a no-brainer. Jacklyn is a family lifestyle photographer based in Cebu City. She's a proud auntie of 6 nieces and nephews, and she's been documenting their lives for years now. She's a family lifestyle photographer. Steph and we've had I think 2 shoots with her already, and they were both, I talk about it in the podcast, but they were both really nice, very chill shoots, and the output of her work is always really good. If you look at if you go to the 032.com, and then I'm going to go to the page where I'm going to post her interview. I'm going to post some of her pictures as well. This is what she has to say about her job. So Jacklyn says, "My favorite thing about my job is capturing kids in those quiet in-between moments, in the times when their personality really shines through. Her goal is to give you photos you can cherish forever. A memento to look back on when they're all grown up, where you can say, oh, remember this? Remember when you used to smile this way? Or remember when you loved dinosaurs? Or remember that year you lost your 2 front teeth?" These are all true stories, according to her. Oh, yeah. So her style of photography is very... These are still her words, very quote-unquote, let's play, laughter, cuddles, kisses, and bubble parties. She loves a good bubble party. So if that sounds like something you'd... Honestly, she really was a joy to talk to. Really fun. She's always fun to talk to. So if that sounds like something you'd like for your family, then send her an email at Jackie. Oh, now I'm confused how to pronounce her name. jackayphoto@gmail.com. That's jackayephoto@gmail.com. If you're interested, I'm going to put this in the show notes as well. And the other thing that we talked about was Deedoe Design, which I don't want to put too much into it, but we basically talk about it in the podcast. It's founded by Jacklyn, by her, and it shows her illustrations. And to get a sense of what her illustrations look like, you may also follow her on Instagram, Deedoe Design. Link in the show notes as well. So Jacklyn was a treat to talk to. So much fun, and it was really good because in dinner parties you don't really get to talk to people about what they do. I mean, you get to do that sometimes, but you don't really get to dig deep into it. And this podcast, I mean, I've said it before, I've said it so many times, but it really is an excuse to connect to people in that level. And this interview was no different. But before we get to that interview, if this is your first time to listen to 032 Conversations, subscribe. You can find the podcast anywhere you can find podcasts. We're on iTunes. We're on any podcast app. We're on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, whatever it is. And then we're also on Spotify. So subscribe. New episodes every Tuesday. Let's get to that interview with Jacklyn Uy.
Yeah. I used to have a craft blog, whatever, called the Sunday Project, which is not alive anymore. It's one of those things that I just wanted to try out. It was okay. It was one of those things that started because I was brokenhearted and just needed an outlet. Like, all of a sudden, I have so much free time and I didn't want to spend it wallowing. So let's do something productive. And I think it was around the time that my brother moved out because he used to live here. And this used to be my nephew's room, the room that we're in. So it was all like kid paintings on the wall and whatever. It's like, I'm just gonna turn it into a studio. And like the idea was this was supposed to be like a photography studio. Like I would put a backdrop here and then hang it down and whatever, all those things. So painted it all white and then just started doing DIYs because it was too cheap to buy new furniture or whatever or decor for the studio. So yeah, it started like taking pictures of that. Kind of like, make yourself feel better. Like you've accomplished something.
Oh, I get that. Like
Yeah.
I never used to do that.
Yeah.
I never used to like I still don't really. But what I got that sense was, we started like cooking in the house
Yeah.
because it's so hard to find a cook.
Because you have to.
Yeah, because we have to.
You have to eat.
But I realized it's this weird sense of accomplishment that
Yeah.
you make something, and then once I started cycling and then like fixing the bike, and I'm like, I'm using my hands. This is fun.
It's different. Like it's different if you make, like you can buy stuff and you can make things and they're never like, of course, as nice as if a machine made it, but it's more special to you because you made it.
Well, yeah, exactly. I feel like I want to do that, but also at the same time, I'm thinking like, I don't know if I'm gonna do that. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
I was but that was a specific point in my life where I had like a lot of free time all of the sudden, which is why it's not around anymore because I'm just more busy now. And it's like,
yeah.
I'm better now. I don't really need this anymore.
No, but
It's so bad. I'm like, I'm not sad anymore. I don't need this now.
No, but I noticed like I was looking at YouTube and I'm like, the stuff with the highest views are the DIY craft stuff.
Yeah. It's stuff and it's because that's how you know that like there are other people who really enjoy this. Because I make things and I think, who the heck is gonna want this? Like, okay, my nephew used to live with us, like my brother's family, and my nephew would always come down to my room and watch TV, like while his mom's getting ready or whatever, or after school, and he would lay on the floor and watch TV in my room. I just felt so bad for him because I have no furniture in my room aside from the bed. So I made him a pillow bed. I basically got like 4 pillowcases, sewed it together, stuffed it with pillows. And it becomes like a little folding bed thing.
Yeah, that's what I watched on YouTube.
And he loved it. He loved it. And that thing is so comfortable, by the way. Like I'll lay on it and just nap for like 2 hours and wake up and be like, best sleep ever.
You still have it?
I still have it. Now the dogs love it. It's now a dog bed.
Mm.
So yeah, because he left now. But that video ended up being super popular and so many people like send me comments, be like, I love this thing or I made one or whatever. And like, how do you keep the pillows inside? Like things like that. Like, I can't believe other people want this.
But like you saw it online, right? Or something?
Yeah,
or...
I think I saw it on Pinterest and I couldn't find the instructions. So I'm like, that's not that hard to make. I don't know who I was talking to about this, but that's something I notice I do a lot. Like I'll see something and just be like, yeah, I could make that. Like, oh, I see how that could be made and kind of figure it out as I go along. But apparently other people don't do this or not a lot of people do that. Like they see the video and they'll be like, I would have never thought to do it that way. And just be like, in my head, it just makes sense to do it that way.
I find myself looking at like how-to videos.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. I'm probably on that camp that you said who don't really like to think. I mean, in a way, we just want the instructions on how to do stuff.
Yeah, like just tell me how to do this. No, I do that a lot too for like practical things.
Yeah. Well, anyway, going back to like that we're all these hyphens or slashes, that we all have like different skills in a way. Uh, I wonder if that's a requirement in today's internet age. Do you ever feel like you should focus on one thing, or
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess, because that's, like the normal thing to do.
yeah, like I've struggled with that myself.
Yeah,
you know.
like do one thing well or a bunch of things kind of okay, which is the life I'm living now. Like the jack of all trades thing, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, it complements on each other.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you can be like, I'm not anywhere near as good a photographer as you, for example, but I can take a photo
Yeah, yeah.
and I can use it for whatever I want to use. So it kind of complements each other, but I do sometimes think about, should I be, should I focus on one thing?
Yeah.
Not necessarily a skill or anything, but like, I don't know. I struggle with that. I was wondering if you had any thoughts about that.
I used to, not so much anymore, because now it's like we're the same in this way. Like we listen to a lot of podcasts, or you used to when you didn't bike around so
I used
much.
to drive.
But I hear it's the same like everywhere. Like a lot of creators do the same thing. Like they do a lot of different things, and then like before you would be known for one thing, like I make oil paintings or I make like watercolor, blah blah blah. But now it's like everyone does a little bit of everything, because I think the idea is like it's not so much what you're doing or what your medium is. It's the fact that you're making something. Like you just feel the need to make something. It doesn't really matter how you choose to do it, as long as in the end you have this thing,
Have you always felt like that? Like you've always wanted to make stuff?
Yeah. It's just always like, I need to be doing something. Or, I mean, that's how the YouTube videos came about, because I wasn't doing anything and I needed an outlet for my creativity. And so I just kind of turned it into videos or turned it into DIYs or whatever.
Was that what you did first? Did the photography come first, or did those like DIY craft?
No, the photography started when I was still living in Manila, before I graduated from UANP. And my sister is a dancer. So she used to do, like the concerts, the CADS performances, things like that. And I would go, and I'd be the only family she had in Manila. So I would go and like represent our family, and take pictures of her. And they'd be really bad pictures, because it was just like point and shoot.
Yeah.
No iPhone pa at that time.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, we're old. I say things like these, and then like I realize it, and I'm like, damn, I'm so old.
Yeah, I've said that so many times. Anyway.
So I used to do that, and then I think like I convinced my dad to buy me a SLR so that when I'd go to her concert, they could have decent pictures of her dancing. So we did that, and then we lived together in Manila, and we would do like little photo shoots in our house. And they'd be like, go put on your ballet costume, and then like go stand in the window for me or do something, and then take pictures of her. So it was really like,
that's a nice thing to have, like early on in your photography experience.
free model.
Yeah, just somebody to
Yeah.
be. Yeah, because I feel that is a struggle for like new photographers. At some point, their friends
Get sick of you taking pictures.
yeah, don't want their pictures taken anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she really loved getting her photo taken. She still does.
Oh yeah, that's true. Was it when you guys were in college?
Yeah. So we had like a year overlap, I think, in Manila, and we lived together, and that's what we would do. And then when she started her blog, she needed someone to take pictures of her. And I just wanted to practice or just like take pictures. So I would do that. But also at the same time, like, I don't know why, but everyone in my barkada kind of got into it at the same time. So we all just started doing it together.
There was also like this like camera thing where everybody had a DSLR.
Yeah, there was a time when it was like really cheap to get it. Like you get it and you get it with a lens and the bag and this and that and that and that. And like, so everyone was just getting into it.
Yeah, so you see people like who would barely shoot, but they have like a giant camera on their neck. It
Yeah, because
was
you can have
it
it.
was a strange time. You'd see like people in Ayala
Yeah.
with giant cameras. But how did you become better at photography? Was it really just shooting your sister?
I attended a lot of workshops.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. In Manila, I would attend workshops there. And then now, like, I'm still like continuously, learning. I always do like online stuff, like Creative Live. Have you heard of Creative
Yeah,
Live?
Chase Jarvis.
Yeah, so obviously he had a blog, and then he started promoting his Creative Live classes, and then there were all these photographers that I really loved and they were doing classes, so I'll enroll in their classes. I discovered this new, it's called Click In Moms. Click
Okay.
In Moms. So it's just a bunch of moms who take pictures of their kids, and it's like they're not the best photos, or they're not the most technically perfect photos or whatever. But when I look at it, it's appealing. So why is it appealing? So I will follow these moms and they'll do like they'll have like a talk, or they'll talk about this picture if you like give them a certain amount, like kind of like Patreon, but for moms.
Okay.
So I'll subscribe to that and just be like, yeah, what were you thinking? Like, what were you thinking when you were looking at your kid?
You would ask them?
You can, because they have like
Yeah,
a
through that
live,
subscription.
Q&A thing. So like, what were you thinking? Like, what about this moment with your child appealed to you? Because that's my market, like
Yeah.
with family. So how, and I'm not a mom, but like, I'm always around kids, but it's still different, right? So like, from your perspective, what were you looking at? And like, oh, okay, so that's what you were looking to capture in this moment, like things like that. Like, I just love that you can see his 2 bottom teeth, and she took like 50 pictures because her baby just got 2 teeth, and then you could kind of see it when he smiled, like that type of thing.
So getting to the specifics of it, and then considering that you're not a mom, you may not necessarily
Yeah, like I wouldn't think of that.
have their point of view. Yeah,
'Cause-
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, because like I know moms do this a lot. Like at this age, this is what my baby is doing, or this is the age that this happens. But I don't know that because I don't have kids.
Oh yeah, my kids are in a really good age right now. I really enjoy like 3. Apparently, it's fun.
3 is a good age.
I think depending on who you ask, I just like that they have a mind of their own,
Yeah.
and then they're saying sentences that they've never said before. You know, like like Manu. He was my firstborn. We were in the breakfast table, and then in the mornings he needs some time to just like sit there and not do anything before you can do anything with him. So he happened to be sitting in the breakfast table, and then like kids, my relatives were there also. The Steph's mom's with us right now, and then she's like, "Hey, Manu, just doing
Yeah.
what relatives do to
Yeah.
little kids." And then he's like, "Grandma, I'm loading."
Oh, it's so cute.
He just like sat there.
That is so cute. And also like so indicative of the time.
Well-
like of his mindset and his generation.
Well,
I'm
to
loading.
be fair, he got that term from Steph, my wife. So
Okay.
she says that
Yeah.
still loading.
Oh,
So he just mimicked what she said. I saw him, shout out to the 7.ph.
yeah.
Beside, they did like a little feature on you, and there's like this really nice collage photo. I'm gonna assume it's your niece, like month 1, month
Oh
2,
yeah.
month 3.
That's my niece. I think that's the first time I did that. It's like an idea that I had that, well, I saw it on Pinterest. I saw moms doing it where they would carry their baby like month on month. And then my sister gave birth, and I was like, "Can I take pictures of your baby?" Every month. I'm still doing it now because she just like gave birth again. So I'm doing another month on month with her and her fam.
Oh yeah.
They have so many pictures.
Oh, I'm sure it's nice to have.
And then I would ask her same thing. Like I would ask her this month, what is she supposed to be doing? Like this month, she's supposed to be able to pull herself up. So I'd put her in a thing and just wait for her to pull herself up, and
Yeah.
then take a picture. So it's like this is the development
That's
thing.
what I noticed with that photo that I
Yeah.
saw. Maybe I'll get it and I'll put it on the blog post on the show notes. But it's like, of course, month 1, kid's literally not doing anything.
Ball.
You basically just put her on the
Yeah.
chair and she's just lying there. But by the time it's like 1 year old, the 12 months, I think she's standing or jumping. I'm not even sure
Yeah.
what it was. So you're right. I feel like that's why it appealed to me, because the kid is actually doing something.
Yeah, versus like he's sitting there doing the same thing month on month.
Mm. So you've been doing this photography thing for, like, as a
When did we graduate? No,
Oh.
as professionally.
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, before I used to have a retail shop with my sisters. What a girl wants.
Oh yeah.
So before, I would take all our photos, and that was the first time that I guess I was doing it like professionally.
You were taking all the photos for What a Girl Wants?
Yeah.
Like even those huge billboard ones?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
wow.
surprised too. Now, I attended a photography workshop specifically for fashion photography in Manila, by Raymond Isaac, who was really good. Like he was such a inspirational teacher. And then he was like, "Oh, who here is a professional photographer? You don't raise your hand because it feels weird, you know?" And he's like, "Have you ever gotten paid to take photos?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Then you're a professional. Own it. Like, why are you shy about this? Just, it's work, you know? Don't be so weird about it." So I was like, oh, okay. So that's when I officially started considering myself a professional photographer.
Well, I feel like that's important though, because if you don't, I can see, like, if you're like starting out and then there's a lot of insecurity being a creative.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like at first that you, like the first time you get paid, it doesn't feel like you deserve
Yeah.
the payment
Yeah.
of that thing, because you're just doing this thing that I'm interested in doing.
Yeah. And then you're like, you don't want to talk about it because you don't really feel like you're that amazing, or like, I don't know, you devaluate your work because you don't know how good you are. Or, I mean, I'm not saying I'm so good, this is how much I should be paid, but like, kind of like I've kind of separated myself from that. I think I was talking to your aunt about this because she mentioned that one of your cousins is starting to do photography now. And then she showed me some of the photos and I'm like, she's actually really good. Like, you know,
yeah?
she should.
Which one is doing photography?
Nice.
I should know.
Sorry, I don't remember everyone's
Yeah, I
names
know.
because
We
there were a lot
We were
of
a
you
lot.
that day. But I'll show you the photo. I'll show you her picture later. But yeah, she was showing me her stuff and I'm like, she's really good. And I'm like, you should be more proud of your work, or you shouldn't feel weird about it. And once you learn to once you learn to separate yourself from that, like from your work, and just be like, this is work, and people will criticize it or not like it or whatever, but it's not you. Like, they're not saying like, oh, I don't like this about that photo. They're not saying I don't like you. They're saying something about the photo. Like, it's that type of thing.
Have you done that? Like, you know, there are these things online where you can post
Critique
it
me.
and then people, yeah.
No. No.
That seems scary.
That is so scary because that's the internet. Just turn it off. That's
sure.
just the
Right.
internet. I don't know why it does that.
What is it? Ah, okay. What is that thing?
It's a air cooler.
Purifier?
It's an eco air cooler.
Oh.
When I lived in Vancouver for a year, and when I was there, it was during summertime, and they don't have air conditioners because they get summer 2 months in a year, so they don't bother to buy air conditioners. And my apartment was like one side of the apartment all glass, which was beautiful when I first moved in. But then I realized in the summer, it's like a friggin' greenhouse. It was so hot all the time. And then I think I woke up one day, or I was working, and the electric fan died. Like, just stopped working. So I was like, what do I do? What do I do? So I went out and I bought this, which was, I think, the most expensive thing I bought while I was there, because I was like taking care of myself and I was working part-time to earn money to do like...
What were you doing in Vancouver?
I went to art school.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I went to Emily Carr, And that's when I came back and was like, hey, I'm an illustrator now. No, it's so annoying. That's so annoying. No, I went to study.
So this is after photography.
Yeah, this is after photography. I was feeling so burnt out with photography and I was considering not doing it anymore because I was doing all fashion and commercial work. I feel like I don't finish stories. Like you're going to listen to this later on and realize.
Okay. This is part of the whole...
I haven't finished a single story. Oh. No, I was feeling so burnt out because I was only doing fashion stuff. Like, let's go back to I started doing photography for What a Girl Wants, and then other people started noticing my work. The dog.
Oh yeah, no.
The dog wants to come back in. Other people started noticing my work and asking, if I would shoot for them. So I was doing a lot of commercial work. And I was doing a lot of like product photography, like white backgrounds. I think we talked about this before, like taking pictures and then spending hours editing it so it would be on a perfect white background for every single photo. And I was just feeling so burnt out because there's no creativity behind that though. I mean, I'm sure there is.
There's a little bit, but like at some point it's like you're a factory.
Yeah. And it's like it's 90% technically, you want to get it technically correct and then add a little stuff. Like you can see some of the stuff I put here. I only put up the ones where I actually did a little bit of like something behind it, like it's not just a straight product photo.
So is this why? This is some of your commercial work? Oh yeah, that's right. That's pretty much it.
So just the stuff that I like. It's so bad. And then... yeah, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's not making me happy. I don't feel fulfilled. And then I decided I wanted to study abroad. I think one of Chris's really good friends, passed away. And I went with her to his wake. And they said something, like his parents said something like, we're finding out at this wake that our son did so many things that we didn't know about. And like, making ikyasma. And then it's like, we're not upset about it because it's so nice to hear that he lived a good life. Like, even though it was so short, he lived his life. And I was just like, what are you afraid of? Like, I just had that moment. Getting emotional. Sorry. I just had this moment. I was like, what are you so afraid of? Like, why are you holding back? This isn't what you want to be doing. So why are you still doing it? Like, you only get one shot. Don't waste it. And I always knew I wanted to travel, like live abroad on my own, just to see if I could do it. So, I decided to apply for art school. I went and I studied like graphic design. And then halfway through, I was like, this isn't fun. It's kind of really boring. I really hate Adobe Illustrator. I go, this is so boring. And then it's so bad to the graphic designers out there. It's just
not for you.
It's just not for me. But, you've moved there. Like, you can't just quit and do nothing. So I think somebody posted like extracurricular class, studying the human figure and face or studying the human body. Like, yeah, okay, it's like a 4-day class. That's like 2 whole weekends that you devote, and you go there on the weekends and you do this like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And you just sit there all day and you just draw this model. That's all you do.
That's the class?
That's the entire class. And then like she talks about theory, and then the model comes in and you draw the model. And at the end of the class, everyone stands around and you critique each other's work. Like, that's the entire class. And we did this for like 4 whole days of just doing this. I loved it so much. I was just like, this is the best thing ever. Why can't I do this every day? So now that's what I do.
So that's how... But when you came back, you didn't like... Well, first of all, why didn't you just stay in Vancouver? Why did you come back? You had no plans in staying?
It's something that I thought of, but my family's here and all my friends are here. So... I don't know. And also in the winter, it got really depressing.
Oh, yeah.
I went in the spring. It was nice. I went in the summer. It was beautiful. And Vancouver is a very like active city, especially during the summertime. Everyone's like, let's go out. Let's go hiking. Let's go find a kayak, stand up paddle, whatever. There's always something to do. And it's really fun if you're like active lifestyle. But then in the winter, nobody leaves their house. And then the sun doesn't come up until like 9 a.m. or something, and it goes down at like 4. And I work part-time, so I was working as a tendera while I was there to make ends meet, you know. So I would go into work and the sun hadn't come up yet. And then I would leave work and go to classes at night, and the sun was gone. So she's like, I didn't see the sun the whole day. None of my friends want to go out.
You know, you and I have a very similar experience. Although Vancouver is so much colder than I lived in Spain, in Madrid for like a year.
I want to go to Spain.
Well, I was there. I lived there, and then I remember it was Jan or Feb, and I felt like it was freezing. I'm sure it wasn't as cold as Vancouver, but I remember looking up into the sky. I was waiting for my bus because I was teaching English, and then I was looking up in the sky. And I was like, I haven't seen the blue sky in weeks.
Yeah.
This is crazy. And then I'm so cold, like my ears were freezing. Yeah. I had to wear gloves, and even like there's some parts in the gloves where like your skin protrudes, and
it hurts because it's
cold. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, Philippine weather is awesome.
It's sunny all the time.
Yeah, and it just rains, and that's it. Yeah, no, that's why I decided to come back also.
Yeah. I think that was really it. I was just like, this is depressing. Like, I'm all alone here, but then I can come home and there's going to be people, like, I'll be surrounded by people I love all the time. So I don't know. Did I make the right decision?
I don't feel like it's a binary. It's like a right or wrong thing. Some people, it works for them if they're out, and sometimes it works for them if they're back. Although I do feel like it's always, especially if you're growing up. Of course, we're much older than growing up, but like I feel like it's always a good idea to go out there, to do what to do what you wanted to do. Just go out there without fam. See if you could do it on your own. I feel like it's always a good once you're done with that, if ever, and when you come back, I always feel like you grow so much faster as a person.
I don't know. It was like, I appreciate my mother so much more.
Oh yeah.
like the household just keeps running, and then all of a sudden you're aware of how much it takes to actually do that. Like, bills need to be paid. You need to do grocery shopping. You need to do your laundry. The bathroom's filthy because you didn't clean the bathroom. Like, things like that. And then that was just with me living in a tiny apartment.
Did you live by yourself?
I lived by myself.
Oh, yeah? Oh.
Yeah. Because I'm kind of like introvert, and I don't do well with like being around people all the time. Like, I need times where it's just me. Even if it's like traveling with friends or whatever, I would prefer to have my own room. Because like we'll spend the whole day together, and then I'll just be like, nobody talk to me for a while, okay?
Yeah, you need the time to yourself.
Yeah.
When I lived in Spain, in Madrid, I stayed in. I ended up actually jumping for the first 2 or 3 months, so many different apartments. But in the end, I stayed in this one place. I think I ended up staying there for 7 or 8 months, and it was like a 7-room apartment.
Wow.
So I had a lot of flatmates, and then my room was beside the kitchen. It was basically the maid's quarters. So it was tiny. So I had my bed there, and then if you open my closet, it hits the bed.
Oh no.
It was so small.
And you stayed there for 8 months?
Yeah, no, it was super good. It was like the people were really nice.
Yeah.
The rent was super cheap because I had the smallest rooms. I had the cheapest rent. And I spent most of my time in the living area, like the living room.
Oh yeah.
Or there was like people were just hanging out, played poker for like I think almost every night for 4 months, something like that. And it was fun. And yeah, I mean I'm just, that was just my experience.
Reminiscing.
Yeah. As we mentioned earlier, we had like a shoot before.
Yeah.
With I think I've had 2 shoots.
Yes, I did one with just you guys, you, Steph, and your 2 boys, when Matty was born.
Yeah.
And then we did one with your whole clan.
Yeah, like 40 of us.
It's like, oh, it's a lot of people. Okay. No, but I was warned. I was warned beforehand. I knew what I was getting into.
Oh yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
But anyway, my experience in those shoots, they were very like, for me as the person in front of the camera, it was very chill and
Okay.
relaxing. And uh, but what made you decide to focus on that niche, like being like a family lifestyle photographer?
When I came back from Vancouver, I was considering whether or not to continue doing the photography at all or to just try to make it as an illustrator and just do that. So, yeah, try to focus on one thing and do it really well or whatever. Or whatever. It was just like, whatever, past Jacklyn, you don't know what you're talking about. I didn't, because I knew I didn't want to go back and do the commercial stuff again. And then I just realized like this is something that I've been doing my entire life. Like I've been documenting my family my entire life because I have 6 nieces and nephews now. So I think when the first 2 were born, that's when I started taking like our big family photo. And then I would take the kids individually and then individually with their family and things like that. Like basically what I did for you guys. But so I've been doing it for a really long time. Like my oldest niece and nephew, they're 10 now. They're turning 11. So I've been doing it for a while. And I'm like, this I actually enjoy. Like I actually like doing this and it's already using a skill that I already have. So most like my parents are like, but it's so sayang. You invested in all this gear and you spent all this time learning it. And then now you're just like, I don't want to do it anymore. like a child. And they're like, no, you have to keep going. So it's like, yeah, actually I could. And like, I'm happy I did. I'm happy I didn't just quit.
Well, you technically are not doing the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
fashion commercial photography is really different from what you are doing now with like taking pictures of
Yeah.
families. I feel like commercial photography. It's because like I don't know. I'm not an expert, but I'm gonna assume that when you have a commercial shoot, you have a makeup artist, you have a stylist,
It's
you
a
have an
whole
assistant.
production. Yeah.
Yeah, and then for maybe 5 photos, like
Well, yeah. Well, when you're doing it for like fast fashion, for like RTW, it's really a lot of photos because it's a lot of clothes and they want pictures of every single item because you have to put that on the website and sell every single item. So it's that. But like doing it with my sisters, I didn't mind so much because I had creative freedom. Like it was me and Chris. We were basically like creative director. You can do whatever the heck you want because it's our photos and it's our brand and things like that. But then doing it for other people, it's different because like sometimes I can't articulate what I want it to look like, but I know what I want it to look like. And when you can't explain it to your client, they're not really going to buy into this idea and they have an idea of how they want things. So it doesn't like, you're always like kind of compromising a little bit to give them what they want, which is fine because they're paying the bill. So they should get to have what they want, but it's just not as much fun for you.
yeah, because they're expecting a certain output to look a certain way. And I would assume like the nice thing with this family, taking pictures of families is that once you've taken a few pictures, you have like a portfolio of sorts. Then people just look at your portfolio and say, yeah, I want that vibe, that look.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's why it's so important to have a website or to have Instagram, I guess, where people can see the work and then you can point to it and say, just so you know, this is what I do. Like this is my style of photography. If this doesn't appeal to you, I could recommend somebody else because there's so many amazing photographers in Cebu who could probably give you the look that you're looking for. It's just not me. Like if somebody wants something super like studio looking, that's not me because I don't do that. But I can recommend someone for you, which I've done a lot because it's like rather than trying to make you happy by following another person's look, I could just refer you to somebody else and you can both be happy together.
Yeah. That's true. How do you take like? I find that when I take pictures of my kids,
Yeah.
it can be. I'm not gonna say frustrating, but like sometimes you want a certain photo, and then half the time you're shouting, or you're like snapping your fingers. Look over here! Look over here! Look over here! Look over here! And then is that? I don't know. Do you have any like tricks or tips when you take pictures of children?
Well, if you look at the stuff that I do, a lot of the time they're not looking at me. They're doing their own thing, which is what I like. Like ideally what type of photography that I love to do, I just kind of want to be in a corner and nobody look at me and nobody notice me, and I'll just follow you around and take pictures of things that I think like, oh, this is so cool. Like this is your family, you know? Cause that's really like the look that I love. Like I like the idea of this. We go through our entire lives, women especially, undocumented. Like your mother is, I'm appreciating my mother more now. Your mother is like the heart of your home. And then nobody takes pictures of her. Nobody takes pictures of her taking care of her kids, picking up after them, preparing their food, feeding them, things like that. So I love pictures that show that I'm just like in the corner and you're like, your kid fell down and you pick him up and you make him feel better. And then I'll like snap that moment. And for me, it's like nobody would ever see that. But if you see that, it's such an expression of love. And it's also like such an honest moment. So I love pictures like that. And that's what I try to shoot, which is why I tell people like, I will try to get one of everyone looking and smiling and like, the whole family for you to send to your grandparents or like frame or whatever. Cause
that's the expectation in a way.
That's sometimes what they like. But a lot of people will always like, I do that. And then a lot of people always come back, and majority of my clients will always say like, I love this shot. Like this shot when I thought you weren't paying attention to us. It's always that one. Like that's the one that stands out to them. So it's like, I think I'm doing something right, because it's like we both like the same thing, which again tells me that I'm appealing to the right people. Like you have to be talking to the right people, because if that person was looking for like a studio shot and I gave you this instead, they wouldn't understand it or they wouldn't like it as much. So you really have to like connect with the right people.
Yeah, so I feel like that's you have been able to do that. I mean, I feel like it's fairly obvious for me when I look at your pictures that that the more I don't know, for lack of a better word, like casual or what's my mom's favorite word that she uses wrongly every time? What did she say? Candid. Girl, candid. And she's looking at the camera, smiling.
We're candid ba? No, but I will do like a post-candid shot. Because also, we don't want to waste time. Like I would prefer to just spend the whole day with the family, and just after a while, you guys will start ignoring me. And then I'll start capturing your family. But I'm aware that people don't have that kind of time or don't want a stranger with them the entire day.
Have you tried that? You're just there?
I have. I think I did it like maybe twice now, but I do it all the time for like my sister, but they're so used to me, so they don't even mind anymore.
But how long does it take for like...
for stuff like that, it's usually like...
No, how long does it take for them to just...
start ignoring me?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
After the first meltdown of the first kid's meltdown, when one kid is like, no, I don't want to sit and smile anymore. Like, I hate her. Make her leave. Like, when that happens and they go into like, mommy mode and they have to take care of this kid and they have to like, and I'm like, you know what? Just ignore me. Do your thing. Like, do your thing and just like focus on your kid. That's when I feel like I get the best pictures, because that's them. They're so relaxed. They don't like, they're not thinking, how does my hair look? How does my body look? Am I smiling right? What do I do with my hands? Like, you're not thinking, you're just being. And for me, those are the best pictures.
Yeah, I agree. Those are I don't know. I have a preference when it comes to photographs as well. And then those are basically like moments.
Yeah.
I was looking through your website, and of course I clicked on the photos that you took of us, right? and then I'm scrolling down, and then there's like a photo of Manu. He's on his little like motorbike toy
that
thing.
was so cute.
Yeah, he had a face.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was, and I was like, oh, that's nice. Like, that's, I don't know. That's my little preference.
Because I remember that. And like when I see these pictures, like I feel like it's such a privilege as well to get to know this family. But like I will remember that moment. So we were taking pictures, you and Steph with Matty on the couch because Manu did not want to take pictures. And he was like running around already. And he was like, no, I don't want to sit down. That's okay. It's okay. Like do your thing. And then you're just playing with them. And I think like after a while, he grabbed his bike and he kept coming up to us. And I felt like he was kind of like trying to get my attention. Like he was kind of showing off to me a little bit. Look what I have. So I was like, oh, then I started taking his pictures. So it's like that type of thing as well.
Well, it's funny that you can remember the exact moment in a way, no?
A little bit, yeah. Like you asked me to put some photos together for you. So one of them was of you guys. I really love this one. It's you were trying to get Manu to laugh. So you were like, oh, like feel my like beard or whatever, and you're like rubbing your like bungot against his cheek. But just before like it tickled him and made him laugh, he had this like really like serious like look off to the corner, He was just like, and then he reaches up and he just grabs your cheek. I love that photo. That is like one of my favorite photos.
Really?
From your shoot.
Now, after this interview, I want to look at that.
It's so cute because he's just like, if you weren't there, it just looks like he's like kind
He's
of
just
holding you,
yeah.
which is so nice. Like I just love that, little things like that.
I don't know what photo you're talking about. I want to look at it
It didn't
now.
mean as much to you as it did to me. No. Wait, here.
Well,
but let's keep talking while I look for it. Cause
yeah. Well, I looked through also. I want to get to your illustration work, of course.
Right.
No. But as I look through the Deedoe Design Instagram page, it's full of like so much beautiful illustrations.
Oh, thank you.
And my favorites are the portraits in a way. Like just you have a bunch which are just like faces. Just heads.
Like those ones.
Yeah, like that one. But there was one in particular that I liked. There's a girl with short hair with freckles. Ah, that one.
I love that photo. I love the look on his face. And it's just like, it just feels like such a quiet moment. But then like 2 pictures after this, he's like laughing crazy because it's ticklish.
Yeah, that was a good day. That was a fun day.
Yeah. Sorry, you were saying.
Oh, anyway, girl with freckles. There's one of the illustrations that you did in Deedoe Design, the Instagram page, and then there's this girl with freckles and short hair. I really like that one. Where do you?
That's one over there.
No, is it?
Yeah, the small one with the blue hair next to the giraffe. People can't see
No, that's not
what I'm describing
about,
is.
What
I'm describing
I'll link to that in the.
Okay.
No, there's another one. Anyway, whatever. It's not. I don't.
Yeah.
Feel like it's that. Well, no, it's another one. Like where she's like looking straight at.
Okay. No, yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I think she's like a redhead.
Yeah.
Or something. But anyway, that one. So where do you? Is this just like? How did you get her face? Like, where do you?
Pinterest.
Oh, really?
A lot of like this interview has like a recurring theme. Yeah, no, majority of the faces that I draw are pretty girls I find on Pinterest, and it's like.
So this is like a real person.
This is a real person. It is, but if you would look at them side by side, they don't look the same.
Yeah, like there's just like it's a basis.
Yeah, it's just kind of like there's something about them that I like. So I'll kind of try to get that. But then in the end, I'm like, I feel like it would be better if I did this and then just go on my own thing.
Do people ask for... Well, first of all, what is Deedoe Design?
Deedoe is... Deedoe Design was the name I came up for my illustration business. So I came back from Canada and then I just started painting a lot. Like I would just do paintings in my room and not show them to anyone, and they would just be there because I wasn't gonna make it a thing. I wasn't gonna turn it into a business because in my head I was like, this is why I don't enjoy photography anymore because I turned it into work and now I'm burnt out and blah blah blah, and I didn't want to do it. And then my sister would come in here and look at what I made every day and just be like, why aren't you showing this to anyone? I'm like, I don't want to show it to people. Like, I don't want to make it a thing. She's like, can you just make an Instagram account and see what would happen? So we decided on the name Deedoe. Oh my gosh, this is like such a weird way to tell this story. We decided on the name Deedoe because if I was gonna make an Instagram account, I wanted it to be separate from my photography account. Like, I wanted to get followers who were interested in the illustration work and not like followers who were following me because of my photography work. Like that type of thing. So I wanted, and then I
This
wanted
is such a
it.
current problem. Like,
I know. What to name my new account? And I didn't want to name it anything that had to do with my old account because like I had this idea that I wanted people to find it on their own and like the work on its own, not because I made it. Because there are a lot of people, which like I'm very grateful for as well, but there are a lot of people who only follow me because they know my sister.
Yeah, oh, well, I think we should just say it. Your sister is Chris Uy. She's like a very well-known
Lifestyle blogger / vlogger now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a lot of people will follow me because they know I'm her sister. But like those people, they're not necessarily my market.
Yeah.
And while I'm grateful for the support, it's like I want people who like the things that I'm doing. So I tried to look for a name that was very different from Jackie Photo. And I ended up with Deedoe Design because Deedoe is the nickname that my nieces and nephews have for me. Like they still call me that now. And then Design because I like the alliteration. And also I didn't want to pigeonhole myself. Like I didn't want it to just be this. I wanted it to be like in the future, it's possible to branch out and do other things.
Yeah, design is a big, wide
so
word.
it's like it could be anything, but it has to do with this. I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh, it does. Okay. So you felt compelled. You didn't want to share it at first. I get that though, because there's when like your hobby becomes your job.
Yeah. And then it's not fun anymore.
Yeah. But so you just decided to put up the Instagram account but putting up an Instagram account is different from, making products or getting commissioned work.
I started putting it up and then people started messaging me and asking like, I really love what you did. Like, can you make something for me? Like specifically for me. So one of the first commissioned works I got was that one over there, which is
Which one?
The wrapping paper with the seashells. So somebody messaged me, complete stranger, which I'm like boggles the mind. Like a complete stranger just messaged me and be like, can you draw something for my wedding? I'm going to use it to wrap all the gifts for my ninangs and ninongs. I'm like, okay, well, what do you want? Cause like, I don't know what I'm doing. What do you want? She's like, I don't care. Up to you. The theme is beach. Like, that's it. And I love that. Like, I love that she trusts me enough to just like, I like your work. Do whatever the heck you want. And then like, I'm sure I'll like the outcome.
She just said, theme is beach.
Yeah. Like, go nuts.
So is that your first wrapping paper design?
That's the first commissioned one. Yeah. Before that, I think I made around the same time I was launching my own line of wrapping papers with my design.
So you showed first like other designs of wrapping paper.
Right. See, these the timeline's getting all muddled. It's timey-wimey. No, what was it? Like a few of your fans who like Doctor Who are gonna get that joke. Nobody else will.
I don't know what that is.
It's fine. Let it go. Let's let it pass. Okay, so what was I doing? I just kept posting my work, and then like people kept saying they wanted something that they could have, and I don't know why I thought of making wrapping paper, but like I guess I could make it into wrapping paper, and it was around Christmas time, so that seems appropriate.
That's an unusual choice.
Right?
I feel like it's an unusual choice. Like, I'll put my artwork on wrapping paper.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why I chose wrapping paper, but there it is. But although, okay, this is like, looking forward into the future. I might stop doing wrapping paper
Mhm.
because another feedback that I'm getting from the people who support me is I hate that I have to keep throwing away the things that I'm buying from you.
I know it's like I was gonna say because it's because you think of wrapping paper as something that covers this thing
Yeah,
that you
it's
really want,
temporary.
and it's temporary.
And I think it speaks to like the value that I put into my own work.
you think
They're
so?
like going really deep. It's like, you don't really think it's worth it. So no, I'm kidding. Please buy my wrapping papers. I'm kidding. Please go
Well, you
to
have more than wrapping paper now, right?
DeedoeDesign.com.
Like you have other.
Yeah, I'm making greeting cards and I don't know. I'm having this moment because I'm kind of like, all my friends know this. I'm kind of like a bit of a hippie in the sense that like whenever I learn something new about how we're destroying the environment, it freaks me out. Like it really freaks me out. So I'll always bring like, I have my own straws, which my friend bought for me because she knows that it scares me. And I'll always bring two with me because whenever I'm out with friends, somebody will order something and they don't have their own. So I'll be like, can you please tell them not to bring you a straw because I have a spare and you can use mine? Like I'm that annoying person.
Oh, now I feel bad for bringing the plastic coffee. I'll make sure to bring it back home. And,
They don't
reuse
know
it.
that. No, I mean, you try your best is my point.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you just try the best that you can. Like I'm aware that we can't like eliminate plastic completely from our lives because like I still use it, but I'm trying. And then recently I got so guilty that I'm making an item that is essentially, disposable, like one-time use item. So I'm so guilty about it. So I'm like really looking for a way to, I don't know, make a more eco-friendly product. So that's where I'm at now, which is why like some people have asked, like, how come there are no new designs? It's like, there are new designs. There's just no new product because I don't know how I want to put it out yet into the world.
Well, that's an interesting time to be in. So it's exciting because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, who knows where the brand is going, right? But also, I think it's like, it's lucky that I'm doing it now while I'm still so small because I can do it now versus like if you were a huge company, I bet it would be a lot harder.
Yeah, but you're also doing more than just products. You have like commissioned work, right?
Yeah, now I'm focusing a lot on the commissioned work until I come out with another physical thing that's less,
I feel like that's a smart thing to do. Like have two. Because one of the advantages of a product is you could, because commissioned work is when there's commissioned work, it's good.
Yeah.
You have a cash flow and everything. But with the product, is you can keep making the same thing, and then you can
Yeah.
sell it, and then you don't have to. It's not taking your time all over again to make it.
Yes. And then like you can make multiple things with the same design.
Oh yeah, kind of.
And it's like, with a commission piece as well, it's an investment. Like if you want me to make something, it's gonna cost a certain amount and that's going to be for you. Like I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
definitely
make
higher
that
than a product.
for anyone else. But if you just enjoy the art that I make, then it's like feels weird to say art that I make. If you just enjoy the art that I'm making and you just want like a little bit of it, then there are these like ready-made things that you can have.
Yeah, I wonder. You never thought sort of like actual. What do they call that? But yeah, like actual prints.
Yeah, that's something that I'm talking to my printer now to see if he can do that for me. So that's something that I'm working on. I need to buy a better scanner, which is what the printers always tell me. Like, you need to get a better scanner.
Yeah, because you really draw.
Yeah.
You really illustrate.
And then when you scan it, it doesn't translate. Or it's not, I don't know. So like the colors, especially with watercolor, because watercolor is very like, it has like a translucent feel. So when you scan it, it doesn't really quite translate.
Can you like? My vocabulary or my understanding of illustration is super limited. Like I know so much more about photography.
Yeah.
What exactly are you doing? Like I don't know. Like what materials are you using?
I mostly use watercolor, but now I'm branching out into like colored pencils and I'm starting to experiment with gouache, things like that. Cause the same
With
gouache, it's like like acrylic
okay.
kind of, but like more thin. I don't know. People who
lighter?
actually use gouache are gonna be like, that's not what it is. You're an idiot. I don't know. I just saw it in an art store and I thought it looked cool, so I'm trying it out.
Where do you buy your materials?
Online or National Bookstore. When I travel, I try to go to an art store because they usually have a better selection. Also, they have like really good selection in Manila. Actually, they have so many art stores in Manila.
Oh yeah?
I don't know if there are here, if I'm just like ignorant, I don't know where they are.
You're talking to the wrong person.
It's
I
like, do
don't
you
know.
get comments if you get feedback and somebody's like, you know where she can go? She can go to like blah, blah, blah. I would love that. Like, let me know where to go.
Sometimes people message.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know who messages every now and then? My sister. Like Monica. She'll be like in months after an episode came out, she'll be like, hey, yeah, you know, my tour guide in Bali's name was also Paco or whatever it was.
That's a good thing. She feels like she's a part of the conversation.
Oh, yeah, I know, I understand.
You know? That's just
I get what that's why podcasts, that's why I like podcasts. I feel like I'm in the room.
Months later, they'll be like, oh, hey, I heard this thing. You're like, I've completely forgotten what we were talking about. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you know, I don't know. It's like, I wonder if past guests get feedback, like if they'll get a message every now and then.
Yeah.
I know what happens with episodes is that usually after I post it, it gets shared a bunch of times.
Oh, okay, cool.
No, depends. Not all the time, but it depends. Like a few weeks ago, I featured this like this guy who is totally out of my circle. He's like a rapper and then organizes hip hop events.
Okay.
So totally out of my circle. So I shared it, and then once he shared it, a whole bunch of other people also shared it because it's this community that they want to share to the world, and then they want other people like me, like you, to understand
more about them and their thinking and everything.
Yeah, because he was talking about he organizes like battle rap.
Wow.
Stuff here in Cebu. He's been doing it for almost 10 years.
No, that's why I think that's like your idea of for the podcast is really cool because like I don't know enough about creators in Cebu. And I started following your podcast because I was like, well, I didn't know we had that. Like I didn't know there was somebody who did that. And I learned about so many new people through your show.
Thank you.
So I know like cause last week you posted about the artist, right? And they're on Spotify. What was it?
Which one? Is it Jerica Teodorico?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I started following him on Spotify, and I'm like, oh, this is so cool! Like,
her music is so
I really
good,
like
right?
the songs, and I would have never found them otherwise because I'm not in the loop.
Yeah, her music is so good.
Yeah.
And then her lyrics are ridiculous. I mean, they're in Bisaya, but anyway, they're super good. If you're listening and you haven't listened to that episode, listen to it. It's good.
Suddenly plug it in there. By the way,
yeah, for the commissioned works, does it usually just work like that? Like they say, make me this. This is the theme, and then ikaw na bahala.
Sometimes I find that if they do that for me, that's the work that's most like rewarding for me. And I hope they like it as well. But sometimes clients will have like a very clear idea of what they want. Like, can you make me this? Mm-hmm. And then it's like, this is back to the fashion photography thing where I'm like, I want to give you something that you want, but also at the same time, I want it to be a reflection of my work. So it's striking that balance.
Oh, but do you think it's going to get to the point where you're going to get frustrated, just like the commercial photography thing?
No, I mean, I feel like because I have the experience, I try to manage expectations, or I'm very clear that like, no, this is the style of work that I do. And like, sometimes they'll send me pegs from other artists and be like, I don't really know how to do it like that. Like, cause I don't paint in that way, but here, look at my Instagram page. This is what I make. Or look at my website. This is what I make. If you like that, I can figure something out for you.
Yeah, but sometimes, especially if you're not a creative person, I think if you're not a creative person, the instinct is like, oh,
It's
she
all
draws.
the same thing. Yeah.
So like she can draw this thing
Yeah.
that I really like.
Like you just see it as all like one thing. So I never take it against the person. I just like explain that, this is what I do. If you like that, I can do that for you.
Do you have like a routine with your illustration work? Is there a time of day that you prefer doing it?
I usually do it in the afternoons because in the morning I help out with our family business. So I actually have like
Your day job.
yeah, like I go and then I report to an office and I do my work there. And then the afternoons I come and then I draw or I edit photos, or unless I have a shoot, then I just take the whole day off
Oh.
and do that. I'm busy today. I have a photo shoot. So yeah, which is why it's like it takes like a week or two to get a piece done, but also at the same time I can't draw for a very long period of time because I get tired.
Yeah.
So I'll only usually draw for like 2 hours in a day before I notice that I start to get very sloppy and I start to make mistakes. So that's when I know I'm like, I have to stop now because like otherwise I'm going to mess up in a way that I can't take back.
When you're drawing, is it in your head already as you draw?
A little bit. Like I think about it. I think about this is how I want it to look. But then as I start to draw, it never turns out that way. Or I don't know, like it just comes out really differently. Or sometimes like it's this weird thing. I don't know where it comes from. I've said this before to one of my friends. Like I don't know where it comes from, but when I'm doing it, it just kind of happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's like, have you read Big Magic?
No.
By Elizabeth Gilbert?
No, I can't read, actually.
We've had this conversation before. Audiobooks.
Okay, yeah.
It's like a podcast.
That's true. I like audiobooks.
But she writes about you're not creative. Like in the past they have this thing called the muse, and then like the creativity, the idea or whatever, it's just kind of out there. And then it finds somebody who it can run through, for lack of a better word, like course its energy through or whatever. And then that person is like a conduit for it. And I know it sounds like hip, like it's such a hippy dippy, like, ooh, idea, but like I swear I've felt it before.
No, the reason why I asked you that question is because, well, I used to write a lot.
Yeah.
And then I realized that at some point when I was writing, sometimes I would write, but I didn't know what I wanted to say.
Yeah. Like it
So,
just comes out.
Yeah, it just comes out. So, in fact, I've read this somewhere. You don't know what your thoughts about a subject until you're forced to write it down. Because once you're forced to write it down, it forces you to really think about it, to be eloquent and put it on the page. And a lot of times you don't realize, your perspective on it until you force it through your hand onto a piece of paper. And I'm sure not everybody's like this, but at least for me, that's what it was. If there was something I wanted to write about, I would just write. And then, the first draft always sucked. So I would always edit after. So the actual thinking was on the editing portion, but the actual putting the words on paper was just...
It's like word vomit. You're just like, out.
Yeah, well, word vomit is not the
it's like
exact
such a
thing I would
horrible way
say.
to put it. But,
no, but it is though,
right?
in a way.
Like it's just, it's coming out and you don't know where it comes from. It's that type of
you don't know
thing.
where it's gonna go to.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So
I feel that way a lot. Like that piece over there, the fox, that's not from reference. I don't know how I made that. If I tried to do it again, I couldn't because I don't know where it came from. The same one with the rabbit there in the corner. I had this idea because I was in the Netherlands. One of my best friends moved there and I went to visit her and I stayed with her friends while I was there, and they had pet bunnies. And it was like cutest little rabbits. And then I think if I get this wrong, I'm so sorry, but the Dutch word for rabbit is koning, and then the Dutch word for king is konijn or something.
Okay.
And it's spelled the same, but it's pronounced differently. And when she told me that, it was just kind of like this idea in my head, like, oh, kuning kunain, like a king rabbit. Like that makes so much sense. So, and then it just came out. And I don't know where that came from. But it didn't come from
So
me.
I was looking at a different rabbit. Oh my gosh.
That one's from reference. The one with the crown.
Ah. Okay. Yeah. So, but I wonder if do you after you draw it, is there like with writing, I can just delete the words that don't work? Is there some editing on illustration?
If it's on Photoshop, like after I scan it and then I'll like edit it on Photoshop, then I can do
okay.
that. Like I say, like if I go long enough, I'll get lazy and make mistakes, and then I'll go into Photoshop and take those out.
Mm. Oh, okay. So there's a little mix in medium in a sense,
Yeah.
but most of it is really
Most of it is really like in watercolor. It's just fixing the mistakes. Like I get impatient and the paint's not dry and it bleeds all over the place. Photoshop it out.
I wish I knew how to use Photoshop, honestly.
I can teach you. It's not that hard. No, it's so hilas kayo pag okay. What I do is not that hard, but what I do is not very complicated.
Well, I'll see if I don't know. I feel like I don't want to learn it also enough because I'm sure if I wanted to, I'd do it.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't want to learn it enough. Anyway, one thing that I've been toying about with in terms of me learning is video. I've been watching a lot of cycling vlogs,
Okay.
and then
No, I get it.
honestly, I'm really toying with the idea of making
Starting your own.
yeah, just for fun, but
Yeah.
it's super time consuming.
Yeah.
I feel like it's super time consuming. And then I noticed, well, Moto, I found out that you have a lot of videos when and then
They're
and
not.
then, but they're like on and off for like the past 5 years or
Yeah.
something. And then recently you started
The studio
the
vlogs.
studio vlog there.
Cause same thing, cause I kept watching a lot of studio vlogs and I was like, I can do that. No, I used to do a lot of vlogs, like a lot of, travel mostly after like in conjunction with the DIY videos, I would do travel vlogs cause there was a time when I would like go around a lot. And then, I don't know, I think that was just, I wasn't doing illustration yet and I was doing less of the photography work. And this is what I was talking about. Like, there's just this need for me to make something, to do something. And I watch a lot of YouTube. Like, I feel like I got to this point where I was watching YouTube and I thought to myself, like, stop consuming, start creating. You know, like, you're not doing anything, you're just consuming media, but you should be creating media. So, I'm pretty sure somebody said that. Like, somebody famous probably said that. That's not my original idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, yeah, like, why not? Why not make vlogs? And in college, I did this marketing. That was my course. Like, marketing communication. So it was like marketing, advertising, PR, strategic planning, all those things. And then what we did was we would come up with the whole like strat plan for imaginary companies or real companies and fake strat plans and things like that. But we'd have to execute all our ideas. And I think that was the first time that I started doing video editing. And I actually really enjoy it. But I don't want to become a videographer. That type of thing. So I just know like basic little things. So I knew enough to put together little videos.
How long does it take you? How long does it take you to edit a video? Say a 5-minute video.
Really long time.
Long, no?
It takes a really long time, especially now because my computer is so old and it's kind of dying a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit. So every time I do anything, like I try to do a speed ramp and then it will render for a really long time. So I was like, I'm going to go make a cup of coffee. I'll come back.
Oh, no, apparently it takes really long. Like I follow this guy on YouTube. His name's Francis Cade, and he's a cyclist. And then he said, like in the beginning, his videos would take like 6 or 7 hours to edit, And then now he's trimmed it down to 3, which still sounds like a really long time.
My videos, like the travel vlogs, used to take me days. Like I would take breaks and then come back and do it. But now it takes me like, I'd say like half a day, maybe 2 days.
Which is still long.
2 half days.
I
That's
feel
like a whole day. But I'm not very good. But this is my thing now, because the reason why I stopped making the travel vlogs was it became too much effort to do it. And it was interfering with my actual work. So that kind of stopped. And then I started doing the studio vlog, but with in my head, the rule that I made for myself was you make it as easy for yourself as humanly possible.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't, I'll take the video, I don't color correct it anymore, which I used to do. I'm like, nobody cares. I'm just gonna put it out there now. Or, I'm not gonna film 5 angles of me doing this one thing so I can put it together and it looks cool. I'm just gonna film it and then just put it together and put it out there. Like that type of thing. So I make it the least work for myself as possible. And then that's the only concession that I've made.
No, but that's a smart way to do. I feel like that's a smart way to do content, especially if you're a one-person team.
Yeah.
Like this whole podcast for me is the way it's set up now. It's the easiest way for me to do this. It started I wanted to feature creatives, and then I was thinking, so I'll write an article about them, and then to make it a really good article, it's so much effort. You think the New York Times articles are nice, but they're
the amount of research that goes into it.
No, but they're professionals. They're super good at what they do.
Okay.
And they're getting paid to do it.
Yeah.
And then also, so it's hard. The short version is it's super hard to do. And then I still wanted to do that. And then what's the best, easiest way for me to do that? And I realized, wait, I listen to so many podcasts and they're really easy. It's literally just people talking. And then if you listen to these podcasters and how they make podcasts, and then just don't edit it. Just and you're done. Don't edit the quiet parts or the parts that they're thinking or the water that you're pouring on.
I know,
the
sorry.
No,
Things
it
keep
doesn't
making
matter.
noise in my room. No, you know what I did? Because people do that. They'll just put out the long interviews, and I love listening to podcasts, but sometimes it's dude, it's so long. So I downloaded this new app.
You speed it up.
Overcast. Have you heard of Overcast?
Yeah, I haven't used it though.
They have this thing called Smart Speed. And then if you click it, what it does is every time there's dead air or just sometimes the interviewer just laugh for a really long time, but it's not really anything. It will automatically speed it up. It knows. I don't know how it knows, but it knows. So it cuts down your time.
Well, you can just...
It edits it for you.
Yeah, well, you can just speed up the whole... you can speed up the whole interview, but everybody's going to sound like chipmunks.
Yes, yeah, which I used to do because I'd get impatient. But with the way they do it is, I feel like the way that they speed it up is smarter. Because sometimes I'll speed it up to 1.25 or 1.5 or whatever. And people still sound like themselves. It doesn't sound weird. It doesn't sound sped up. So they have a way to do it that it's just people still sound like themselves.
Overcast, huh?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, going back to the YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
So, I'm just curious about the ins and outs, honestly.
Okay.
So, because you're not a videographer, you're not an editor. You'll do it for content, that sort of thing. So, I'm curious to get your perspective. If you ask somebody who's doing this as a profession, they're gonna give you the professional advice, which might be too much work.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm curious, what program do you use? Where do you get your music? Those, stuff like that.
I use Final Cut Pro 10.
Is that an Apple thing?
Pirate. Because it's so expensive.
Is that an Apple thing? That's a
No,
that's Adobe?
I don't know what it is. Is it an Apple thing? I actually don't know. I feel like it's all the Macs come with iMovie. It's like the iMovie's big brother. So maybe it is an Apple thing.
Okay.
Because actually it's very similar. And I used to edit on Premiere, and it killed my laptop. Like my laptop couldn't handle it because it was too heavy. So it kept crashing. And I think there was this one time that it just crashed and deleted a bunch of files. And I was like, I hate Premiere. So I uninstalled it. So now I use Final Cut Pro.
The rage uninstall.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're like, it's all your fault. So now I use that. But now my laptop is slowing down too. So I got to figure it out. And then for music, I don't know. I like the music that I like. I listen to SoundCloud a lot. And then you just kind of like find an artist that you like. Or what I try to do is in my description, I always put the music and the artist.
Wow, yeah.
So it links back to them because a lot of the artists that I actually find through other vlogs that I really enjoyed the sound. Like your sound was just really nice. So I'll check out and then I'll find them. And I always try to credit back to them.
But YouTube, I learned this. I interviewed this artist in Cebu. His name's Carlisle. And then turns out, if they are registered in that ecosystem, the Spotify, YouTube, whatever it is, if you use their music, they actually do
get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
based on the views, of course.
You credit it, and then YouTube will give you an alert that says if you monetize this video, a portion of the revenue will go to that artist.
Which is great.
Yeah. So I'll do that. Like, at least if it's somebody that I really like, at least I'm supporting you in a way. But I try to message them also. Like, I always message and I always leave a message like, can I use this in a YouTube video? It's just for me. It's not like a commercial thing or
Do
whatever.
people reply?
Sometimes. And then if they don't, then I won't. But, which is why if you look at it, I'm using the same songs. If you watch enough videos, you'll realize I'm just using the same song again and again. Like that type of thing.
Yeah, so I was wondering about that. And I'm toying with the idea. It just feels like...
Or if you go to SoundCloud, what I do is you have to find the artists that say rights attributed. So that means you have the right to use it, not for commercial use, but as long as you attribute back to them. So if it has that, like, specific copyright on it, no rights attributed, then I'm like, okay, then I can use it because that's technically you giving your permission to use it. As long as I link back to you.
So you link back to the SoundCloud page usually.
Yeah.
I wonder why it's SoundCloud. Why is it like... Oh, I guess that's really like the social media for
guess.
music.
I'm not sure, but it usually is SoundCloud. And then SoundCloud will have, like, if they will let you use it, then they'll have the download right on SoundCloud itself.
Well, anyway, I know we're taking up quite some time. I don't want to take up too much of your time. But I do have a few last questions. One of the things I was wondering, going back to how we're all hyphens or slashes, and going back to like, should we focus on something? But do you find difficulty balancing everything?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's really hard. If I have a lot of photography work, like December is a very busy month for me because that's when a lot of families are together. There's no school for the kids. And it's Christmas time. So they're like, oh, let's get a portrait done or whatever. I don't do any new illustrations during that time. So that's also the time, like by then, I should have products out. So there's a new thing to put here, and it's not just like I'm abandoning this for the entire month type of thing. So I focus on photography, and then I just have that, like showing new products that I've made from old illustrations, like that type of thing. And then when school starts, I have so much free time. Photography wise, so that's when I do a lot of new designs. Like I make a lot of new things. Huh? Yeah, it works out. I mean, there's always time to do it. I feel like if you really want to do something, there's always time to do it. Like you'll figure it out.
Oh yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
Because 24 hours honestly is a long time.
Well,
because you'll find ways to fill the day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then a lot of people, like, I know I'm spending an ungodly amount of time watching YouTube videos, probably. And that's a lot of time wasted.
And that's when you start thinking, stop consuming, start creating.
Yeah, well, going to creating. So I know that you create a lot of content. and then I'm gonna assume that you think it's important to do so.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, like why do you think that is? Because like for example, your studio vlog, that doesn't necessarily point directly to your photography work or Deedoe Design, but you feel compelled that that it should be out there.
The studio vlog, it's supposed to connect to Dido.
No, but it does. I know it does, but like
I don't know. I feel like a lot of the creators that I follow on YouTube, who make their own studio vlogs, when I see them make the work, I'm more likely to appreciate the work that they put out. You know, like if I see the process, or if I see their, like, what went in, or just their lifestyle. I don't know. It's just like it's like getting to know a friend type of thing. And the watercolor work, the illustrations, it's actually very personal. Like, this is more personal than the photography work, because the photography work is, I'm behind the camera, you don't see me, I'm shooting somebody else. But this, I feel like I know I'm not drawing myself, but it's, you know, it's more personal. It's really my work that's like going out there. So it's important for you to get to know me and to understand, like, if you know me, then you understand why I'm making this type of work. Like, anyone who knows me knows that I'm not going to make anything very dark or anything that's very, like, thought-provoking, like, oh, society, it's ruins or whatever. That's not me.
I like that you said society and ruins.
Like, that's not me. What, like, I'm just like, I'm colorful and happy and, like, you know, drawings of bunnies. That's what I do. So it's like, it's that. It's getting to know me and getting to know the process and everything. And hopefully that translates to understanding the work better.
Yeah, well, I know that I want to like add that, you know, so the vlogs, they do point to Deedoe Design, but I can easily picture you doing something with the vlog and not
and not
it.
having anything also.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? So I know that it doesn't necessarily have to connect.
And like vlogging, I know this is weird, but vlogging is it's like a way for me to connect to people as well. Like, because I am quite introverted and I do have, I recognize that I live in a bubble, you know, like I have my circle of friends and I don't really venture out of it very often, but like vlogging is a way for me to live my life outside of my little vacuum. Like putting, this is what I do on a daily basis out there, but like it's still safe. Like I'm not like, I'm inviting you into my life, but I'm not inviting you into my life. Mm-hmm. That sounds weird. It sounds like it's such a vain project.
No,
Go take a look at it.
No, but I feel like we just, as humans, we just want to connect with other people. And you're connecting in a way that you're comfortable with. And other people are comfortable connecting, you know, I don't know, in a bar and talking to random strangers. And then that's totally fine. But that's not for everyone.
Yeah, I'm like in the comfort of my own home where I don't actually see you. But here, look what I'm doing.
Yeah. No, I mean, the podcast is the same way for me.
Yeah.
If I didn't have, if I wasn't forced to set interviews with other people, it would be very easy for me to just, you know, do my work and then that's it, and I'm done and I go home. You know?
I'm like that, like, because I work on my own for everything. So there were times where I realized like I haven't spoken to another human being in like a week. You know, like that type of thing. Like I haven't really talked to anyone else for a very long time. That can't be very good for me.
Oh yeah, so you have to make efforts to connect with other people.
Yeah. Still a one-sided medium though. Like realizing it.
Is it though? Is it a one-sided medium though? This is like a very
poor analogy. Right?
Is it though?
Kind of. Well, I try to reply to all the comments, you know, and then like talk to people.
Yeah, but Mona, for me, it's like it's a way to connect that you're comfortable with.
And also it's just like Insta stories. I do a lot of Insta stories. If I feel super inspired to do something, I will spend like hours working on one Insta story. Like I think I did one that took me half a day to make. And Insta stories are not supposed to be like these productions, right? They're just supposed to be
because they disappear.
They're instant, that's the point.
Yeah.
But like I did the whole thing like teaching people how to make rainbow text on your Insta story.
I saw that.
Yeah, and it was an effort to make, and I had to call somebody and say, "Can you video me? And can you do it this way? You didn't do it right. Do it again." Like
I saw that.
that was
and
an effort.
You know what I wanted to do?
What?
After seeing that, and then because I wasn't really doing Instagram stories at that point, and then I remember seeing that video, and then when I was finally doing my own Instagram stories, I kept thinking, how did she make that rainbow text again?
I'll show you after.
How did she do that?
But it's I don't know. It's like that. It's fun for me. Like I love doing it. So I'll get like a burst of like I really want to make something, and then I'll just make it. Or I think the most recent example of this was we were in Korea. And I was so bored. Nobody was talking to me. I was just like really bored waiting for dinner, that type of thing. And the light was so nice. And there were these like, we were there for a Clinique event, and there were like these Clinique bottles on the table. And she's like, no one's paying attention to me. So I just set up my own mini photo shoot using like I would say it was sunset, so it was like really gorgeous orange light and like bunch of glasses. And I went to the other tables and I started picking like the centerpiece from their tables and arranging it and took picture. I took the picture and I showed the before and after, and then I showed like kind of like a zoomed out version that showed like this was the lighting, this is what I was thinking, this is how I got this like weird whatever effect. Because to me, that's fun, like showing people the process and showing people like, you can do this. It's not that hard. Or like when creativity strikes, you should just embrace it and do it. And those are the stories that I get so much engagement from. Like a lot of people will really write back and be like, that's really interesting. Or have you tried this? Or like, can you show us how to do this? So like, I'll keep that in mind for the next time I'm feeling super inspired.
And still, that's a connection with another person.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good place for us to end. Do you want to add anything?
Babbling. I feel like I've spoken enough.
Where can people find you online?
You can find me on Instagram. I am at Jacklyn Photo or at Deedoe Design. Deedoe is spelled Deedoe. I wanted to make it phonetic.
I will link to it in the show notes in case you have a hard time spelling.
Yes. And then if you're not on Instagram, I have my own website, jacklyn.wordpress.com. I'm working on getting a real website. And then deedoedesign.com. This is like random thought that I had recently, by the way, for your followers. It's very important to have a place on the internet that's your own and that doesn't belong to another company like Facebook or Instagram or things like that, because right now it's really popular, but someday those companies could disappear, and what are you going to do? Yeah. And all your work is on there, so it's important to have a place that's yours. I don't know.
So that's on the that's the website.
Yeah, that's why I made a website and like a portfolio type website.
Have you ever thought of getting like newsletter? Yeah, you do have newsletter.
Do I? No, I don't. I used to. I tried, but it's hard.
Oh yeah, I noticed there was a sign up in one of your sites.
I
promise not to spam you, but I
promise
will
not
send
to
you
spam
an
you.
email every now and then.
Yeah, and it's gonna be that type of thing. Like if I get like a burst of creativity where I just feel like making something, then I'll share it. But it's not a promise to like monthly give you something. FYI, in case you signed up for that and that's what you were expecting, it's not that.
Yeah, I have a newsletter. It's one of the things that I enjoy
putting
doing.
out
regularly. Every week.
It's such a commitment.
Oh yeah. That's why it took me so long to commit to
it.
No, but yeah, it's fun. I like it. It's fun. I like, it's share ideas and stuff. Anyway, thank you so much for being in the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. I'm going to turn it off.
Bye.
Okay, hope you enjoyed that conversation with Jacklyn. Here's an example of another super talented friend, a friend of mine anyway, who I see occasionally, but I don't get to talk to her about her work. So again, I was able to talk to her. It was so much fun. I had my own questions, and a lot of these interviews, I want to get something. I'm curious about something, and then Jackie was so generous with her story. So thank you, Jack. Thank you so much for doing the podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Thank you to Cube Gallery and Graphic 9 for sponsoring the podcast. The music from this podcast is Piano March by Audionautics. Again, huge thank you to Rose Buenconsejo. Thank you so much for being a Patreon subscriber. And if you, the one who is still listening until now, if you find value in this podcast, if you find value in learning from other creatives in the creative community, and you want to support what I'm doing, and you want me to do more of this, the best way to do so, the best way to support the podcast is to become a Patreon subscriber. Be like Rose. Rose, again, thank you so much. Shout out runru.com. Head on over to patreon.com/032. That's 032 in letters. And all the details are there with how you can support the podcast. The other way to support is to buy 032 merchandise. And the third way to support is to share this episode on social media. And the fourth way is to leave a rating on iTunes. I hope you enjoyed that episode. All right, let's do another one. Another episode coming out on Tuesday. Cheers. Bye.